everyone. Welcome back. We are here. It's the WOSHL Podcast Playoff Edition. I am Andrew Rogers, your host as always, and it's great to be back with you guys once again, bringing you another episode. You know what? I understand last week's podcast was probably a little bit ho-hum. We had a lot of highlights to show you, and no guest, unfortunately, and no guest again this week. But we will bring you. We'll recap the weekend that was, and we'll get you teed up here for semifinals that are coming up. Because I mean, man, oh man, like a lot of people might have been able to predict that this was going to happen. Obviously, some teams might have not, or some fans might have not. But you know what? Best four teams ready to go, ready to tear each other apart in best of seven series to determine who is going to move on to the WOSHL Championship Series. But we'll get all into that coming up here shortly. So we do have highlights, though, to show you from this last weekend. There are some highlights to show you. We did have some technical difficulties. We had Friday's game in Strathroy, Tillsonburg, and Strathroy Jets. That was covered by 509 Sports Online, so we have highlights from them. And then we had our game this past Sunday in Erin that had some technical issues. Their internet was down in their arena and it was unable to stream, so no video highlights from that. But we do have video highlights from the rest of the games this past weekend. So from that, we'll go right into our we'll just give you guys an update on where things are at and tee you up for the semifinals. So without further ado, let's get into the video highlights.
It's been a tight, very competitive series between the Strathroy Jets and the Tillsonburg Thunder. This is Game 3 on Friday night from the Gemini Sportsplex. The Thunder with a 2-0 lead in the best-of-5 series. Opening period, it's the Thunder striking first. The point shot is loose in front. Jake Brown puts it in. He's got the first goal of the night. Tillsonburg is up 1-0, and they're looking for more. Todd Ratchford with a chance in front. Big stuff from Josh Diamond. The Jets netminder keeps it a one-goal game. Later in the period, this is Ratchford at the point to Zach McQuaid, and it's a roof job from McQuaid. He gives Tillsonburg a 2-0 lead after the first. Second period, here come the Jets. Cameron Amos with the puck. He comes in, fires, and scores. Amos getting Strathroy on the board. They now trail by a goal, and the Jets pull even a few minutes later. Matt LeBerge rips it in. We've got a new game. It's 2-2. Later in the second, Brett Lashbrook sends it over to Mike Mandarelli, and it's a big stuff from Matt Segrot. He stops Mandarelli, but a penalty shot is awarded on the play. Here is Mandarelli. He's looking to put Strathroy on top, and he makes no mistake. Big goal Mandarelli. Strathroy's up 3-2 after 2 periods. Let's head to the third. This is Wes Baker breaking in, and he extends the lead. Baker puts the Jets up by a pair. It's 4-2. The Thunder, though, not going down quietly. Andrew Tapsel in front puts it in. We've got a one-goal game. The Thunder now trailing 4-3, and they're looking to tie it up. Todd Ratchford comes in, and he rips it off the post. And that's it. The Jets would hang on for a victory in Game 4.
It's game number 3 of the best-of-5 series between the second-seeded Elora Rocks and the Alvinston Killer Bees. We are at the Elora and District Community Center for this matchup between the Bees and the Rocks. Pick things up in the first period here, just over 7 minutes into the frame, and it's going to be Alvinston jumping on the board first in this one, courtesy of number 11, Kane Johnson. His shot evades Colin Dunn's blocker hand side. That gives the Bees a 1-0 lead in game number 3. Minute and a half later, Elora trying to respond, and they do. Zach Cameron is going to pick up this puck. He tees it up to Charlie Stevens. He scores, and that makes this game 1-1 here in period 1. Time running down in period number 1. Alora controlling the puck in the Alvinson zone at the tail end of a power play. Power play expires. It's Zach Cameron over to Zach McInall. His point shot is going to be deflected in by number 11, Brendan Woods in front. That beats Nolan DeConing. It gives the Rocks a 2-1 lead heading into the second period. Just past the 4-minute mark into period number 2, Alora keeping on the pressure and they extend their lead. Initial shot here is going to be stopped by DeConing. Alex Utley is going to follow his rebound. His wraparound is going to get there before DeConing can get over on the post. That extends the Alora lead. They lead it 3-1. Minute later, and it's more from the Alora Rocks. This time, it's going to be Brendan Woods who's going to pick up this loose puck. He's going to drop it to playoff leading scorer Zach Cameron. His shot is going to pop the water bottle in behind the glove hand side of Nolan DeConing, and that makes it 4-1 Alora. Alora on the board once again 2 minutes later. They work this passing play to perfection. It's Alex Utley over to Blaze Bridges. He puts it past the outstretched arm of Nolan DeConing, and that puts the Alora Rocks up by a score of 5-1 in period 2. Minute later, the Alvinson Killer Bees are going to bring it into the Alora Rocks zone, and they are going to catch a break here. Kane Johnson is left all alone in front of the net, and he puts in his second of the contest past Colin Dunn, who's left helpless in front, and that would make our score 5-2 at that point in the second. Nearing 4 minutes to play in period number 2, and it's a face-off win from the Alora Rocks as they control the puck off the draw, and it's going to be Charlie Stevens who's left all alone. He receives the puck, and bang, it's in the back of the net. That makes the lead at that point 4. It's 6-2 Alora heading into period 3. Third period now, and the Alora Rocks dynamite offense is on the power play here, and they go to work. It's 4 Killer Bees watching in the midst of the confusion, and it's going to be Spencer McCormick who's going to bang it in on the doorstep past the helpless DeConing, and that's going to stretch the Alora lead to 7-2. Bees operating here late in the period, and they are going to get one before time expires. This one on the power play, courtesy of number 67, Ty Johnson. His point shot is going to evade Colin Dunn. It's a power play goal for Alvinson, and they're going to cap off the scoring on this night. That makes it 7-3. The Alora Rocks defeating the Alvinson Killer Bees 7-3. They sweep the best of 5 opening round series 3-0, and they will move on to round number 2, where they will take on the Stratford Fighting Irish in the semifinals. Next up, we are at the William Allman Memorial Arena in Stratford, Ontario. It's game number 3 between the Aaron Blitz and the Stratford Fighting Irish. Stratford coming into the game leading the best of 5 2-0, and the Aaron Blitz are trying to stave off elimination and force a game 4 back in Aaron. After Mike Cree opened the scoring for the Aaron Blitz, Blitz are going to get on the board once again in the first period. Just under 3 minutes to play, a 2-on-1 that has worked to perfection here. It's Lucas shot over to Chris Preje. He gets his first of the series. That gives the Blitz a 2-0 lead heading into period number 2. Early on in period number 2 and still on the fresh ice, the Aaron Blitz going to catch a break here as it's a breakaway for number 15, Jacob Colson, and he outweights goaltender Zach Weir. He's able to put it past him to extend the Aaron Blitz lead. They lead it 3-0. Just past the halfway point of period number 2, it's a face-off that is controlled by the Stratford Fighting Irish in the Aaron Blitz zone. This puck is going to come to Matt Granger on the sideboards, and his shot is going to fool Aaron Blitz netminder Jacob Tugnut. That puts the Irish back into the contest. It's now 3-1 for Aaron. Third period now, and the Aaron Blitz are going to find themselves in a 3-1 lead, looking for more to put the final nails in the coffin of the Stratford Fighting Irish in this game. All kinds of pressure in the Irish zone. Point shot here is going to be stopped, but it's going to be Max Lightfoot on the rebound. He buries. That's his second of the series. That extends the Blitz lead to 4-1. Minute later, it's desperation city for the Stratford Fighting Irish as they pull goaltender Zach Weir. for the extra attacker. However, the puck is given away in the neutral zone area, and it's going to be number 11, Jordan Tutt, who is going to capitalize on this one, and he is going to put it into the empty net. That will stretch the Aaron Blitz lead. 5-1 they lead at that point, and that would go on to be the final score in this one. So it's an Aaron Blitz road win as they defeat the Stratford Fighting Irish 5-1. The series is now 2-1 heading into game number 4 back in Aaron tomorrow night.
Then Teeling races up over the blue line, dumps it in. Hustling after that is Vito Scaringi. Scaringi pulls up, puts on the binders behind the net. He set up the breakout, up they come. Racing up the ice now here. The center in front of the net. As back up the ice, Burge. Burge carries it up. He's got Jennings stepping up to the plate, drops it off. Hughes steps in, fires a shot! The Tilbury Bluebirds on the board. Adam Hughes rifles out and home. Hot cheese, left side to give Tilbury that. Left in the power play for the Lakers. They haven't had very many opportunities. Tilbury's been great. Hustling up with the puck now is number 7, Shizuski. He's back in the corner. Shizuski back to the point. Long shot put on net. Polidori, the crowd scores! Polidori saw the puck dribbling and just couldn't pounce on it. Puck bounces out, and Chevalier couldn't grab it. Cheng on the move, racing up 2-on-1. Cheng moves in, tries to get across that quick shot, scores! Short-handed goal, Schmidt puts the one of the leaders for this Bluebirds team as well. 1:45 left in the first period, 2-1. Classfield leading. They've got a power play goal and a short-handed goal. Carried it over the line, big hit. As dropping the bomb on that one was number 9, McKibben. Broken out now. Here comes Roth. He's got Van Teeling with him. 2-on-1. Roth over the line. Waits. The Van Teeling scores! Up over the line. Van Teeling drops it off for Cravat. Cravat, nice move. Scores! Beautiful play by Ryan Cravat. Van Teeling dropped him the puck and he went in. Nice little dangle. Backhand upstairs. They've got 1:25 left in the power play. Scaringi over the line. Just dumps it in. He takes a hit from Cravat. Bouncing puck, Morani. Morani tries to put it behind the net, and Jennings scoops it up, smashes it off the board. Scaringi keeps it in, goes cross ice. And the puck is put through him. Elms had a wide open net, couldn't bang it home. Wow, another shot fired, another one. Score! Schmidt, his second of the game. Play. Now Weber curls back. Weber has a look. Back in a puck up for Van Teeling. Van Teeling, red line, blue line, dumps it in deep. Puck is put in deep. Simon hammers it around the boards. Cravat just chips it back behind the net. Van Teeling is there. Centers it in front. Quick shot, Rob. And look, Luchko. Another scores! Cravat is second on the rebound. And he just couldn't bang it home. Back to the point it comes. Jennings. Luchko free traffic. Rebound comes out. Back in, scores! What a beautiful goal by Winter. He didn't have a lot of room short side and put it underneath the crossbar. Fires it up through. Now here comes Winter again. Winter races up. Comes in. Nice move. Scores! Winter, his second goal. Nice toe drag and backhander. Quick shot back to the point. Lawrence rifles it. Quick shot, nice scramble for scores! Logan Percy picks up the ball on the side of the net. Make it 7-3. The referees, yep, nothing. And nothing's going to happen. Heat of the battle. Class act out there, both teams, as in hockey. You see the handshake, that's what we do, folks. That is tradition.
WOSHL playoff highlights continue here. It's the Strathroy Jets and the Tillsonburg Thunder, game number 4 of their best-of-5 series. Pick things up here in the first period. Mitch Green making it 1-0 on a goal just at the 1937 mark of the period to give the Thunder a 1-0 lead. Tillsonburg Thunder looking for more here at the end of the first period. A nice solo rush here from number 24, Zach McQuaid. His rebound is banged in by number 10, Mitch Brown. That's his first goal of the series. That gives the Tillsonburg Thunder a 2-0 lead. 30 seconds later, Tillsonburg pressing once again, and they're going to get another one here in the first period to extend their lead. This time it's off the stick of Curtis Christo. His screenshot beats Josh Diamond of the Strathroy Jets. That gives the Thunder a 3-0 lead. Final seconds ticking off here in the first period. Strathroy Jets looking to respond, and they do. Brandon Buck with the great solo rush here at the far end. He goes to the backhand and is able to get the goal. He puts it past Matt Sagrot of the Thunder. That makes it 3-1 going into the first intermission. Second period now, more from the Thunder. This time it's going to be Matt Weston of the Thunder banging in this centering pass with all kinds of pressure from the Thunder. That extends their lead to 4-1. Minute later, Thunder on the power play. They control the puck around, and this point shot here is going to be deflected in by number 16, Mitch Fitzmaurice of the Thunder. That extends the Thunder lead to even greater. It's 5-1 at this point. It goes from bad to worse here for the Strathroy Jets 3 minutes later. 5-on-3 for the Tillsonburg Thunder, and watch this precision passing at the other end. This one is going to be stuffed into the back of the net by Mitch Green, his second of the game, and that's going to put the Tillsonburg Thunder up 6-1 here in period 2. Late in the third period, after what was an ugly third period in Strathroy, Tillsonburg Thunder are going to add one more before the game expires. This point shot is going to come off of the end boards, and number 95 leading scorer Jamie McQueen is going to put it past Josh Diamond, his third of the series, and that caps an the afternoon of scoring in this one. Thunder take it 7-1. They defeat the Strathroy Jets in the best of 5, 3-1. They will now move on to the semifinals and a date against the top-seeded Tilbury Bluebirds. 7-1 the final in this one. No video highlights to show you here, but a results page here. As you can see, the Stratford Fighting Irish defeating the Aaron Blitz. Game number 4 of their best of 5 series to take the series 3-1. Final score 6-2 this past Sunday at Center 2000 in Aaron. No video highlights, but I was down there to watch the game personally. And what a slugfest between these two teams. Each game was a battle for both teams, and after the Aaron Blitz were able to get a win on the road in Game 3 to stave off elimination by a 5-1 score, they were unable to continue that momentum into Game number 4 and fell to the Stratford Fighting Irish. Kudos to the Aaron Blitz on a great season. They didn't give up. They came back strong in the second half and put up a heck of a fight in this best of 5 first round quarterfinal matchup against the Stratford Fighting Irish. Goal scorers for the Aaron Blitz, Jacob Miller and Joey Wariwoda. Jacob Tugnut, after a big game in games 2 and 3, only stops 10 of 15 before getting the yank. Braden Kelso taking over, stopping 12 of 13 the rest of the way. But again, it's the Stratford Fighting Irish coming up big. 6 different goal scorers for Stratford in the game. Graham Brulot, Sebastian Noguera, Cooper Leach, Zach Tierney, Cameron Stokes, and Dylan Buckholtz. Darren Smith getting the victory. He won 2 of the 3 games for Stratford, stopping 23 of 25. He's going to have his hands full against a very good Allura Rocks team in round number 2. But the final from game number 4 in Aaron, 6-2 Stratford. They move on to round number 2.
Yeah, from there, folks, we go right into our WOSHL playoffs bracket. And as you can see before this episode, all the series were at 2-0. And then as we go on, the Tilbury Bluebirds sweeping out the Plattsville Lakers and moving on to round number 2. They are the home seed and the high seed for round number 2, where they will take on the Thunder, who defeated the Jets in 4, 3-1. And that series will be a banger, no question about it. Laura Rocks sweeping out the Alvinston Killer Bees. They are the home seed in the semifinal, best of 7, where they will take on the Stratford Fighting Irish. A little bit of a hiccup there in game 3, but they come back in game 4 and complete that series win, 3-1. So Laura and Stratford Tillsonburg and Tilbury. Going to be an unbelievable semifinals. So yeah, guys, as you can see, there's all your results from a great first round. And you know what? It really was. Best of 5 series are unpredictable because you only have so much margin for error there. And if you do have a hiccup, it could come back to bite you. But the top 4 seeds all moving on to the semifinal round where they will duke it out as they've been doing for and jockeying for position all year long. So from there, guys, like I say, we're going to tee up our matchups here. First of all, though, what I want to do is I want to go and jump into an announcement that was put out by WOSHL Hockey, and that was for the WOSHL Hockey Most Outstanding Player of the season. So the way this was determined is that each team was asked to submit a player from their team, vote on a player from their team who they nominated as their most outstanding player nominee for the league. So out of the 9 teams, we only got 8 submissions, and they are as follows. Ryan Polidori, goaltender of the Tilbury Bluebirds. You have Kevin Hugh of the Plattsville Lakers, Chad Herron of the Allura Rocks, Jamie McQueen of the Tillsonburg Thunder, Jacob Miller of the Aaron Blitz, defenseman Mike Stolar of the Delhi Flames, forward Graham Brulot of the Stratford Fighting Irish, and defenseman Bailey Freifogel of the Alvinston Killer Bees are your nominees for this year's awards for the WOSHL Most Outstanding Player. So, yeah, keep an eye on WOSHL.com for more information about that. But congratulations to those who were nominated, and great to see. From there, guys, we want to go into we want to update our leaderboard in terms of WOSHL leading scores. And again, Zach Cameron, unbelievable first round. 12 points in the 3 games that they won. He leads our leaderboard with 12 points, 3 better than Ryan Roth of Tilbury. Both of their teams completing first round sweeps. Roth with 6 and 3, Cameron with 5 and 7. Cameron Stokes is in third with 8. Jamie McQueen, Brendan Woods with 7. 4 players tied at 6, including Graham Brulot, Ryan Cravatin of Tilbury, Ray Robbins, and Alex Utley. And then you had 4 skaters there that were tied with 5 points. But great to see lots of great scoring in round number 1 and a ton of points put up by these individuals. And let's see if they can sustain it. The big news, obviously, is Dylan Denemy, the league's leading scorer, who put up 50 and 18, returns for game 1 on this upcoming Saturday against the Tillsonburg Thunder for the Tilbury Bluebirds. So we'll see if he can't catch Zach Cameron, who continues to we'll see if Zach Cameron's momentum can take him into that semifinal series against the Stratford Fighting Irish. That'll be one to watch. He'll be definitely on the eyes of many in Stratford. As we go from there, we're gonna have a look here at our WOSHL playoff preview, and we will start with the Tillsonburg Thunder and the Tilbury Bluebirds. This is a matchup of 1 versus 4. Tilbury finishing 19-4-1, 147 in, 64 against. They have Dylan Denemy, who led the team with 50 points, and Ryan Polidori, their all-star netminder, who went 17-4-1 in 22 games played this past season, and he is a rock in the Bluebirds net. He will be tested by this Tillsonburg Thunder team who scored the most goals out of all WOSHL teams this past season, 154 in, 99 against, a record of 17 and 7. Jamie McQueen leads their team in scoring. He had 41 points on the year, and he was outstanding. But a lot of their team is very balanced in terms of scoring. 2 of the most balanced teams in terms of point production throughout the lineup. So be really interesting to watch how they match up 1-on-1. Matt Sagrot, the team's top goalie, 11 and 5. He played all 4 games against the Strathroy Jets, and he will need to be huge against this potent Tilbury offense. So will Ryan Polidori for the Bluebirds. So a great goaltender matchup and a great offensive display that'll be on full force in this series. So the Bluebirds took the season series 2-0 in the 2 matchups, 5-2 and 8-5 victories. Again, playoffs are a whole nother beast, man. So just because a team wins 2-0, 2 games in the regular season doesn't mean jack when it comes to playoffs, as evidenced in our next series. But first, before we get to that, what we will do is give you an idea of how the schedule is, what's been announced so far for the Thunder and the Tilbury Bluebirds. So first, game 1 of this series will actually take place in Tillsonburg on Saturday at 7:30 at the Tillsonburg Community Center. So that's on the 18th. That goes at 7:30 as mentioned in game number 1. Game 2 will then be played on Sunday at 7 o'clock in Tilbury on the 19th. So that'll be game number 2. They follow that. They go Tilbury will get 2 straight home games on Saturday on the 25th of March, 7:30 start time in Tilbury for game 3. And then on Sunday at 4:30, it's a 4:30 start in Tilsonburg in the afternoon, 26th of March, for game number 4 of that series. Game 5 will then take place, if necessary, on April 1st at 7:30 in Tilbury, with Sunday, April 2nd, 4:30 start in Tilsonburg for game number 6. And then if game 7 has not been announced as of yet, however, we do know it will be in Tilbury no matter what. So keep an eye out on the WOSHL socials for that information. From there, we go to our second semifinal matchup, which will feature a matchup of 2 versus 3. The underlying story here is it's a matchup of last year's semifinal between the Elora Rocks and the Stratford Fighting Irish. Elora sweeping away the Stratford Fighting Irish last year in the playoffs before winning the WOSHL championship. So let's see what happens this time around. Both teams much different. And also these two teams are very different from how they were in the 2 matchups and during the regular season, in which Stratford took both matchups, 10-5 in Stratford, 6-4 in Elora. So we'll see what happens this time around come playoffs. Whole different beast. But yeah, how the teams stack up throughout the course of the season. Stratford 18-6, 137 in, 82 against. Ray Robbins led the team with 36 points, while Zach Weir had the better record than Darren Smith at 9-3. However, it was Darren Smith who really took control in the playoffs, and expect him to start game 1 on Friday night in Elora, which will be, that's the other note here. All games for Elora in this series will take place at the CW Sportsplex in Fergus. NHL size rink, as opposed to the arena at the William Wallman, which is significantly smaller. So each team will have to adjust on the fly in each course of the game from one game to another in this series. That'll be really fun. Elora 18-4-2, 147 in, 75 against. Chad Heron led the team with 47 points. Colin Dunn, 14-3-1 on the season, was really good in the 2 games he started, games 2 and 3 against the Killer Bees. And then obviously Zach Cameron's the dark horse here in this series, because he did have 12 points in the first round. So we'll see what he can do for an encore in round number 2. But Chad Heron kind of had a slow first round by his probably standards, but with the regular season numbers that he put up. So we'll see what he can even do in round number 2. But there's a lot of firepower on both sides. So we'll see what happens. It should be electric, though. You can guarantee that. And the schedule, as it's been announced as of this moment here. So this series will get underway in Fergus, 8:30 on the 17th, this Friday. Then the 2 teams will go to Stratford on Saturday, the 18th. That'll be a 3:30 start, so not 4:30, 3:30 start in Stratford on the 18th. The teams will then go to Fergus again on Friday, the 24th of March, 8:30 start time there. They will follow that up with game number 4, 8 o'clock in Stratford on the 25th. So an 8 o'clock start there on that Saturday for game 4. Game 5 will take place on Friday, March the 31st. That'll take place at 8:30 in Fergus. Saturday on the 1st will be game 6, but get both those games, if necessary, in Stratford. And then obviously game 7 to be determined, but it will be in Fergus. We definitely know that much, that it will be in Fergus. So yeah, like really, honestly, at this point, it's just so exciting. The playoffs are so exciting. These games are ratchety and crazy. Having saw the games that I saw, did the games that I did in the first round were spectacular, to say the least. The hockey is fast. The hockey is good. The talent level is there, and it's on full display. So you put the top 4 teams from this past season in semifinal matchups where they go and duke it out against one another. You can expect fireworks. I honestly, really, at this point, don't know what to expect here. Tilbury was the top team in the league, sure, but Tilsonburg went to the finals last year. They have an unbelievably unpredictable team, and they can really ramp it up when they need to. So Tilbury, if they take them too lightly, could end up in a major upset here. But Tilsonburg, they have the experience. They've been together forever in terms of a team. They've been around longer than Tilbury, obviously. But the Bluebirds, they're sneaky, man, and they're just so good. They can get scoring from everybody, and it's just Denemy's going to be the dark horse here, I think, because having missed the first round, he hasn't played in a little while here. We'll see if he can shake off the rust early, and maybe Tilsonburg can take advantage of that rust that Denemy shows. But there's so many good players on the Bluebirds, so it's not just about one player. And obviously, it's a great goaltending matchup between Matt Sagrad and Ryan Polidori. So we'll see what happens there.
in terms of the Stratford Allure series. So I'm going to call games 1 and game 2, both with Brian Hawley, terrific color commentator for the WOSHL, and great color commentator for me, as we have great chemistry when we do games. So we're going to do the road game in Fergus on Friday, and then we will do the home game in Stratford on Saturday at 3:30. So again, with this series, it's hard to say with this one how this is going to shake out. Allure obviously had the higher seats, so they do get the home ice, which is going to be crucial for them because they are playing at the CW Sportsplex, which is an outstanding arena. It really is, and it's a big arena. NHL size, 200 by 85. Stratford's significantly smaller, so it'll be a case of one and a case of the other. And how teams adjust is going to determine who wins this series. It's going to also be a big challenge for the Stratford netminders. If Darren Smith falters, Zach Weir is the backup option, not a bad backup option. But again, it'll be how they step up in this series against Colin Dunn, who was outstanding last year for the Allure Rocks on their way to the championship. And he's been equally as good this year, if not better. So we'll see what happens with him in that. But like I said, guys, the teams are significantly different than they were a year ago when Allure swept Stratford out of the series. And then they're significantly different than they were in the regular season when it came to the 2 Stratford wins that happened and took place. So it's really going to be a matter of who sets the tone in game number 1, and it'll be a banger, no question about it. It's a great way to start the second round of semifinals. My playoff beard is crumbing in real nice, and I'm looking forward to continuing to grow it throughout the course of the playoffs. It's going to be so much fun. But yeah, guys, so this is where it changes. Best of 7 semifinals, not best of 5 anymore, best of 7. And it's whoever survives out of this is going to be in for one hell of a WOSHL championship series. Whoever gets out of this semifinal round will have earned it, and they will have earned their spot in that WOSHL championship series. And then it's really a fight to the finish line, and it should be so much fun, these next 2 series. But yeah, that's going to wrap us for this episode of the WOSHL Podcast Playoff Edition, episode number 23 in the year. And I, of course, am Andrew Rogers, the host of this podcast, and occasional play-by-play, obviously, guy that you know. Kudos and shout-outs also for Gary Patterson of Tilbury. He does a wonderful job out there in terms of play-by-play, as well as Gavin Michaels, who does an unbelievable job in Tilsonburg when he does play-by-play for those games as well. So I want to give shout-out to those guys. But yeah, I'm going to wrap here. Andrew Rogers signing off for another episode of the WOSHL Podcast Playoff Edition. And we will, of course, see you again next week. Take care, be safe out there, and we'll see you guys again soon. See ya.